big, big, big team. Michigan, Northwestern.
Oh, it's time.
What time
It's time.
What time is it, baby?
It's first in the Big Ten time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the 5150, brother. This is Roberto Jones. We're coming from a destination unknown.
Let me tell you guys something.
Tell them.
If you can find a better YouTube, Big Ten, football, college football, YouTube show with a black guy from Columbus and a white guy from Hebron,
Irish guy, brother.
Irish guy from Hebron, Ohio, I'll give you $20. I'm putting it out there. If you can find that a better black guy, a better black white guy
Wait.
from Hebron, from Columbus,
That made
with a
money
YouTube
yet.
show.
We don't got
with the Big
$20.
Ten- What's up?
We don't got $20.
That's right, we did order pizza. All right, anyway, guys. All right, let's start the show. All right.
Where we get started? There was a couple key games this weekend.
We had a big weekend this weekend. The biggest weekend of the season. The best weekend of the season. We had a lot of matchups.
We've said that a lot, but we're actually being truthful this time.
It is. Up to this point, this is the best weekend.
It is. I'm saying you're
Michigan
actually
State, Notre
truthful.
Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Nebraska versus Oregon. Wisconsin, they struggled with Georgia State, but it still was a good game. You know, we had
Landscape of college football's changed.
it was big, man. Maryland's 3-0 this time. Northwestern got their first win, so it was
Finally.
a big weekend, Big Ten football. So overall, now that everybody's played the majority of the major games of the non-conference
Yeah,
schedule,
we're starting to get that Big Ten conference play kicked off this weekend.
we beat everybody. We beat everybody that we was
All
supposed to
the-
be worried about.
All the big measuring stick games for this conference, believe it or not, the Big Ten has the highest winning percentage
So
in Power
far.
5 football right now in the non-conference games. And all the big measuring stick games, they won.
Right.
You had Pitt, lost a tough game against Penn State, but that was an even game. Rutgers lost to Washington, which no one expected them to win that game.
Right.
But
Outside
all the
of
big
that.
games, the Big Ten won.
LSU was a big main.
And they went on the road to do it. On
Oklahoma,
the road.
Notre Dame, Oregon. Who else? Somebody else won one last
Wisconsin?
week. Who Wisconsin beat? I said
LSU
LSU.
the first weekend.
Who did who else play? Oh, Iowa beat their rival Iowa State. So it was a lot of big non-conference games over the first 3 weeks, and we held our own, man. I'm starting to think that the Big Ten might be the best conference.
It's
in
just
college
crazy because
football
it changes
this
week
year.
to week. I mean, one week it's like, the Big Ten, they didn't win some games, they're down. But then the next week it changed. But this year they've been pretty consistent. They won games the first week. Second week they didn't have any big marquee games, but they had some games. They lost a couple of them. But last week, all the big games, if you're going to go as far as Big Ten conference perception, nationally, they've won these games, and people are starting to talk about the Big Ten in a positive light and not always negative. You say Big Ten, it's always, okay, well, what are you going to say after that? It's never anything good. Right now, I mean, we've almost got four, and depending on which poll you follow, they got 4 Big Ten teams in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, Wisconsin at 10. This is a coach's poll. Wisconsin, at 10. Michigan State at 8.
Ohio State,
Michigan at 5. Ohio State at 2.
I mean, for the Big Ten Conference, these first couple weeks, to me, couldn't have went any better. I mean, I didn't expect them. I thought they had chances in these games, but I didn't think they were going to pull all of them,
All of them,
especially
yeah.
the couple of the tough ones they had on the road. But it's been a great weekend for Big Ten football, without a doubt.
It was a good weekend for football just in general.
Yeah.
Man. Even outside of the Big Ten,
there
that
was some
Florida
fun
State,
games.
Louisville game was a good one.
It's always good weekend when college football's on.
I'm just so excited, man. Like, hey, there's nothing nobody can say anymore. They can't say we can't compete. They can't say we don't beat nobody. Like,
No.
once we
From here
start
on out.
getting into conference play, a lot of these teams are going to beat up on each other.
Yeah, you're
but
not going to hear that narrative.
Hey.
Oh, well, who they've beaten?
Right.
They beat Big Ten teams. That don't mean anything. Well, now you really can't say that
Right.
because these teams went out and beat other teams from major conferences.
And they
so
challenged themselves, too. It wasn't just pushover
these-
games.
No. So now when these teams play each other in the conference play, there's a lot more respect there, and it's going to mean a lot more because we got some huge conference games coming down in the next few weeks. So
Yeah, so start out with Ohio State and Oklahoma. Ohio State won 45-24, man. All the talk about the defense being young, a lot of players had to replace. It's scary because they still not that good. They still they gave up a ton of yards. They missed some plays, but they still, man, they score more. They got more defensive touchdowns than some teams have offensive touchdowns, and they still young.
well, the Ohio State's defense has scored more points than the offense has given up.
Right.
Which is just crazy. I mean, they got 9 interceptions this year. They got more return yards from interceptions than a lot of teams do rushing the ball, period.
Right.
Which is just, these stats are crazy. And at first we had them the first couple weeks, I'm like, all right, well,
They weren't playing
they're
no-
skewed. But now they did it against
Yeah.
Oklahoma in their house. And you don't just go into Norman, Oklahoma
Nah.
and beat them down like that. But then Ohio State rolled in and Urban 316 says, I just whipped your ass.
Right.
All over the field, both sides of the ball. And I mean, I couldn't win any better. I mean, and the
Should've.
thing is, it could have been worse.
Yeah, like they gave up their kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah, they did what they wanted on offense. It almost towards the game, it's like they got a little conservative. But I mean, Mike Weber got his yards whenever he wanted them,
They
and they didn't
wanted
even
him
use
enough,
them.
yeah.
A couple times they took him out. Samuel got yards. They got him through the air. I mean, they did everything, and the defense is scary, good, fast. They're only going to get better. And the
Yeah.
defensive line was probably the biggest surprise to me. Oklahoma got their yards, but it's not like they didn't get any of the
Yeah.
big gashing yards that you would expect right up the gut. That's what I was worried about. But as a team, they battled, and nothing came easy for Oklahoma. Nothing.
Well, I will say this: Ohio State impressed me. Michigan
I
State
didn't-
also impressed me too, man.
I didn't think Ohio State. Michigan State worried me after the first week with Furman, but they came out and shocked me. And for Ohio State, I didn't think Ohio State would be playing this well, especially this early, with how young this team is. You're the most inexperienced team in college football, and you go into Norman, Oklahoma, and you look like you're the more experienced team. They're definitely the more talented team.
They were what, a 4-point favorite. They should have beat them by what, 35? Because
Noah Brown's catching balls off people's backs one-handed.
That dude had 5 catches, 4
we-
almost for touchdowns.
We knew he could be the X factor. We knew he was a freak. We heard about him all last year. This year he's getting completely healthy because he wasn't completely healthy to start the season. And JT Barrett's got that guy. I'm gonna throw it up, and you come down with it. And more often than not, he's coming down with it.
And he's got weapons all over the field. They run the ball well. They got good receivers. Now with the defense comes along, like I'm still worried about. I don't like the way that they run J.T. Barrett so much, man. He got to start handing the ball off a little bit more on those
Way
read
too many of them
options.
quarterback read
Yeah.
play where he just runs it. He needs to learn to slide
Right.
first off because he's way too valuable. But they're working out. They're trying different things. Dontre Wilson, he was more of a decoy. He wasn't a huge factor. But the other game that we went into was Michigan State. That game, I was worried, especially early. They went down 7-0, but once that ball hit off Notre Dame guy's leg and they recovered that fumble, it was like right after that, the blood was in the water and the Sharks were circling because after that, they went on, a 36-0 run.
Right.
Notre Dame came back just because, they got Deshaun Kaiser and he's going to bring them back, but
Yeah,
they
so
probably
much
got a little
cushion
more.
there.
Yeah, they got a little more lackadaisical on the defensive end, but I did not expect to see them run the ball this well because last year running yards were hard to come by, and they got two guys, Jared Holmes and L.J. Scott. The offensive line dominated the game,
Yeah, that bye
and
week
Tyler
came in
O'Connell.
handy.
Yeah, and Tyler O'Connell found him a couple weapons. We knew about Shelton, but Donnie Corley out of Detroit, Michigan, freshman. He looked like he's going to be special, and he looks more comfortable. And they're going to need that going into the next game because they got a big marquee matchup this weekend. But I was super impressed with Michigan State.
I'm going to go out there and say it. Nobody's better than the Big Ten right now. No other conference. I wasn't impressed by nobody
You got
else.
4 top 10 teams. It's hard to say.
They got
They're definitely on the level with everybody else because the SEC, they got some teams, but they got some teams that aren't very impressive. I mean, Ole Miss is still getting love, and they got 2 losses. But
right. Like in the AP poll, they got Ole Miss ranked with 2 losses, even though they did play Alabama tough this week.
Yeah, I know, but if you don't win, you don't win.
You
period.
lost. Same way with Oklahoma.
You gave up
Oklahoma's still
48
ranked.
points. I mean,
And Iowa lost to North Dakota State,
State.
which is a good team. They won 6 straight
don't get me
consecutive
started on
national
Iowa.
championships. But it's just like, if they would have pulled that game, they should have had, the Buckeyes really got 6 quality teams that should be ranked in the AP top 25.
Yeah.
The coaches poll, they got Iowa ranked 25th. So
Iowa's not going anywhere. They're gonna have a good season. It was a tough game. It was a terrible fourth quarter, but we'll get into that. But Penn State came out. They got revenge on Temple. Their offense seems like it's growing as we speak. We'll find out how much when they got Michigan this week. But they're getting better. They're actually they're protecting the quarterback a little better. McSorley, like I said, even after the Pitt game in a loss, he looks like he's getting better and better every week. That team's getting better. They're scoring points, which if you watched Penn State football last year, they didn't score a lot of points. It was a struggle. So Maryland squeaked by with a victory. I was surprised that was even a game. But you're going to have games like this.
Right.
Hills got knocked out the last play. They had a freshman guy come in, first play, ran a 24-yard touchdown to win in double overtime. Sometimes these games, you're not going to come out. And for them to get out and squeeze out that victory, they won the game. You win to play another day, and they
That's
won
the
that
thing.
game.
The most important
Yeah.
factor
I mean,
of all
Iowa
these
would
games
take
is
that
just to
right
win.
now.
Yeah, you
I
just
mean,
want to
you're
win.
going to have games like that.
Yeah,
Rutgers went into another hole. Then Janorian Grant brought him out of that hole as usual. He's becoming a big-time playmaker in the Big Ten. A lot of people don't know about him because it's Rutgers. They lost their first game, but for what he means to that team is as much to any player means to any team, because he's just their spark plug. Once he gets going, and he does so much, whether it's receiving or running the football or returning the football.
Yeah, but that first game
keeps
was
Rutgers.
it was a tough game
Yeah,
for Rutgers, man.
but it just shows you they're
number
battling
9.
back,
Right.
and they another hole. They came back and won again, so that's impressive for them. They needed a couple wins, like you said. They're gonna be hard to come by, but
Yeah, Rutgers' main objective this season just to get bowl eligible. So
Yeah.
winning these
gonna
games
be
is
tough,
more
but
important than people think, man.
as long as you're progressively getting better as the season goes, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah,
You got Wisconsin,
Hey.
who came into this week riding high, and they had a struggle with Georgia State. Corey Clement didn't play. I don't know what happened, but Bart Houston ended up getting benched. It was sluggish. And then they brought in their backup, Hornibrook. He came in going 3 scoring drives, and now we got a quarterback controversy. If you would ask me after LSU, I would have said you're crazy. Now they got a quarterback controversy going into East Lansing to play Michigan State, which isn't a good thing. I don't know if they jumped the gun. I mean, he came in and helped him carry the victory, but he said it's going to depend on what they do at practice this week. But
Well,
now you got a quarterback controversy.
You know who doesn't have a quarterback controversy? Nebraska.
No.
Armstrong looked good, man.
I mean, he came in, he was cramping up,
Right.
but he fought through it and ran that touchdown to win. It was huge.
Yeah, he's getting better every week, man, with his decision making and just
He
his
is.
playmaking ability.
He's not making as many mistakes.
Yeah, he would have had a 34-yard touchdown with like 2 minutes to go, man. It was huge, man.
Yeah,
like,
'cause it was a back. I was surprised. I went to that game. I was hoping Nebraska could keep up, but Nebraska went in and played their game.
Right.
He won, and they withstanded the onslaught from Oregon. And then Oregon, for whatever reason, went for 2 every single time they scored a touchdown,
I don't know.
and got it the first time and never got it again and lost by 3. So
but that's the thing.
I'm
like,
glad they did. but
Nebraska they finally playing their football balanced.
Playing their
It's
game.
not one dimensional. It's not
No.
trying to have Armstrong pass for 40.
If
40
it
times
is,
a
they're
game.
not going to win that football
Right.
game. But they got to be balanced and take care of the ball. And right now they're doing that. That was a huge win for Nebraska. Now
Right.
they're ranked. That's their one big marquee game, and they took care of business in Lincoln. That was a great win for Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what we got so far. That's a good stopping point. We're getting to the halftime part of the show. We're halfway done with it. I know it's going by fast. I know you guys love hearing us talk about the Big Ten, but want to take a break, get into the halftime report, and then we'll be right back.
All right. Time for another halftime report. There's been a team I've been following a lot, listening to a lot of local podcasts about this team, and that's the Iowa Hawkeyes. Where do we start, Iowa? They had dreams this season, big dreams. North Dakota State ended them dreams. They got over that hump, dominated their rival, and they managed -9 rushing yards in the fourth quarter. I mean, how do you manage Iowa football, pound the football, and -9 rushing yards? That's ridiculous. 34 rushing yards the entire game. I mean, they had that game, and it's just like they let them hang around, and then they beat them. That was the one game you went into this week. I don't think they overlooked them. I just think they physically just got beat up front. And Kirk Ferentz just got a big-time extension, and then they go off and lose this game. I mean, I don't get it. I thought they could have a really great season, and they might still have a great season. Their goals are still there. They could still win the Big Ten. It's just, you got to win that game. And they just fell apart and just got beat up. And but on a more positive note, let's talk about the book I've been reading. Hayden Fry, the man, the myth, the legend. It's actually called High Force Picnic, but the man's a legend. He's a program builder, built the Iowa program to what it is today. Was the first coach in the Southwest Conference to recruit black players. Told him he's either leaving or he lets them do it.
Black players, you.
Yeah. He knows what I'm talking about. He was in the Marines, had a colorful history, coached Barry Switzer, Jimmy Johnson, and Jerry Jones in Arkansas. Roy Orbison was in his class in Texas. So it's just a great book about his life. He did a lot of great things. He's just a man. He was a man with good morals, loyal, and just a great football coach who built programs. I highly recommend it. Looks like I've been pushing this book. Should have pushed it last week when they beat Iowa State. But pick it up. I highly recommend it. It's a good book. And if you're an Iowa fan, maybe you can read this book and maybe it'll make you feel better. I don't know, because it was a pretty sad loss against North Dakota State. But that's all I got this week for the halftime report. Until next week, Big Ten football, baby.
All right, we're back from the halftime report. That was the worst halftime report we've had so far. Like, the handsome guy wasn't on the show. Like, he didn't talk about my Buckeyes like he's supposed to. Iowa lost. Like, I used to like Iowa until they lost.
Are you mad because you can't grow a mustache like Hayden Fry could grow? Is that why you got against him? I mean, that's all I can see.
I think I have a sexy mustache already, but this was by far the worst halftime report. And I hope you guys follow me on Twitter. It's really him 614. You can tweet this guy at Leland5150 and let him know that this by far, if the black guy, the handsome guy, doesn't return to the halftime show, we won't do it anymore. Yes, Robert. Sure. That's my son. He said he hates Leland too, so I mean.
You see who wears the pants. You tell this guy what to do.
Back to football. That's what we're gonna start with.
What about the Wolverines? Had an interesting game over the weekend.
I thought they'd be a little bit more dominant against Colorado. They talk about this defense and how dominant it's supposed to be.
It's true. They've given, which the crazy stat is, Indiana, which we looked at their defense, not a very good defense, but this year they haven't given up any plays over 50 yards. Right. Michigan's already given up 3, which is surprising to me, but I'm still holding out, how I feel about that defense until they get Taco Charlton, Brian Monet, and their best defensive back, Jordan Lewis, back. Because they had Thomas back there, and he was just getting exposed all game long. But
one thing I will say,
they got the win through that. They got the win, but
they're one player away from being average. And that damn Peppers, he is one of the top playmakers in college football.
He makes up for a lot of things. He does so much. He's got one of the top players in the Big Ten in tackles for loss. Had a sack, had a punt return. The guy can only do so much, but
he does so much well.
Yeah, he does.
I hate Michigan. I want you guys to know that, but that dude.
Sometimes you get the benefit of a guy getting injured.
Hey.
Lafouille went down early in the third quarter after throwing a 70-yard touchdown, taking the lead. But you get them lucky breaks. They're able to pull it out. That's all you can do. And they got Penn State this week. But for what I see on them, their offense, Wilton Spite, I got to see more out of him. He's got weapons around him, but so far what I've seen from him, he isn't really scaring anybody to me.
Yeah.
But he's got the best tight end in football and some great receivers.
I'm not too worried about him too much, but it's just certain things that concern you, like especially now that we get into Big Ten play. You're not gonna be able to start off and have these moments, these big laps like they've been having, giving up all these big plays. Because as we just talked about, the Big Ten, this is one of the more deeper years, so you can't be playing from behind against teams that you shouldn't. Don't give teams opportunities to hang around because you'll fuck around and lose.
We got a lot of Big Ten games, a lot of big games down the road. What are some games you see off the schedule this week that you're interested in seeing?
Off the schedule?
Off the schedule this week.
Off this schedule.
Give me. Obviously, we could talk about Wisconsin, but Michigan State, the big time showdown. Both top 10 teams. It actually I just seen it got announced that Hornibrook is going to get the start for Wisconsin. His first start as a college quarterback, so that'll be interesting. But your first start's going to be in East Lansing.
I want to see what Nebraska and Northwestern does. Northwestern lost 2 close games. They finally got a win. They could easily be 3-0 right now.
I know they're not as bad as they were when they got lost.
But they need
9-6,
wins, though. They need wins. You can't get these moral victories.
And it's going to be a night game in Northwestern, which they play better at night in Northwestern.
They're at home. Nebraska's coming off a big win, so they might have a little. I don't want to say a letdown, but they might take them for granted.
A lot of what they did built towards that Oregon game. Right. So now they could come in, and this could be a trap game for Nebraska. Going in Northwestern 1-2, not what we became accustomed to the last few years after coming off 10-win season. That could be a tough game for them going there at night. If they come in, they're lackadaisical with the football, they could lose that football game. Because Clayton Thorson, what we said about him so far, last game he threw for over 300 yards. He stepped up. If he steps up, this game, it could be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a good game anyway, but if Nebraska comes out, puts the ball on the ground, they could lose that football game. And the Wisconsin, the Michigan State game, we'll find out about Hornibrook going in on the road to East Lansing against a team who looked really great last week. That's going to be a fun match. Both of them got great defenses. we'll find out a lot about them quarterbacks. This will be the best defense Tyler O'Connor's faced all season. So he beat up on Notre Dame, did great, but this is a whole different ball game against Wisconsin defense. So that's going to be a fun game.
Penn State-Michigan game should be a good one. I want to see what Penn State does against a defense like Michigan's.
I just want to know why Jordan Lewis. I know Monet's hurt. Taco Charleston, I figured he'd be back by now. I haven't heard much. Harbaugh don't give a lot of information on injuries, which is fine, but I figured Jordan Lewis would already be back. And from what the guys they had to rotate and put DeMonte Thomas in there, who just got destroyed last week, they got to get him back as soon as possible. Because what Penn State does have, they're blocking better, and they got weapons. They got Saquon Barkley at running back. We already know about him. But they got some great weapons at wide receiver, and they can beat you down the field. So if they don't get that short up, we could see a couple more big plays. And if that happens early, Penn State's got a better defense than what Colorado was working with, a lot more physical defense. And if I'm Penn State on the road, you want to hit them shots early because you want to get them out of the game quick.
Yeah, but Michigan's going to be at home,
got to be ready
so
for that.
That crowd is going to play a big factor.
They got to sure up just them deep balls. I mean, I don't know what happened. And before that, it was the running game. They did better last week on the running game, but they can't be real good on one thing and just horrible on the other. They need to start dominating that line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. That could be a fun game. But
like I say, a lot of this stuff, man, it's like we nitpicking because they won by 17.
Yeah. It's just like we're looking at the bigger picture because we know what's down the road.
Right.
After Penn State, you got Wisconsin. It's not getting any easier down the road in this conference, especially this year.
But hopefully they come through a little bit more focused.
But you're number 14. We're going to nitpick a little bit. So.
Number 5 in the coaches poll. So.
We don't care about the coaches poll.
That means anything.
Iowa's got Rutgers. They should have a bounce back. If Rutgers spots them a 14-point lead, they ain't catching up. So it's at Rutgers, away game. But I got to think Iowa's going to come motivated. Nevada, Purdue.
Iowa got
interesting. I think Purdue's going to win that game. They could score some points. Colorado State, Minnesota. That might be a close game, but I think Minnesota, they'll pull that one out. But the jury's still out on Minnesota. They're one of the teams that hasn't had one of them big measuring stick games, and that'll come down as soon as we get into conference play. But other than that, we got a lot of big time games. This is one team we're going to see a lot of in big games in the next 3 weeks. Talking about Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, all their next 3 games, and we'll find a lot about with Wisconsin Badgers. I mean, they weren't being too kind when the Big Ten gave them that schedule. Them 3 teams in a row. You don't get any tougher than that.
But if you make it through it,
there's no argument about the top team in the conference.
There's no argument about it.
But they're only going to get better. It's only going to make you better. But they get some of them in their house, so it'll be interesting. I want to see what their new quarterback looks like in a hostile environment. This is his first start. Bart Houston already beat LSU. Now he's going to have a short leash though, for sure.
So what do you think? What does Ohio State have to do to jump Alabama, or is it more about Alabama losing the spot? Because the Buckeyes are 2, Michigan's 4. Michigan, it's going to be hard for them to jump Louisville the way Louisville's been playing.
It really just depends on how Alabama looks. Ohio State's got a bye this week.
Right.
Then they got Rutgers and Maryland. I don't think anything they can do in them couple games will probably be enough to jump Alabama unless they lose. But it's so early in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. Everything's going to work itself out. Yeah, I mean, they should probably be more worried about if Louisville's going to jump them because Louisville's got Clemson here in a couple weeks, and Louisville's tough. But as of right now, that's all going to work itself out. You take care of your business, you'll be up there. I mean, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, they all control their own destiny along with some other teams like Minnesota and stuff that hasn't lost yet. But it'll be interesting. I mean, it's just fun to see all these teams, and we're going to have all these big-time matchups that I don't know if honestly we thought we'd have this early. Did we think Michigan State and Wisconsin were going to be this big of a game? I didn't think both of them were going to win the games that they played. I thought at least one of them would lose.
I thought LSU would have had one loss by now.
I did too.
We was wrong.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game.
Battle of the unbeatens, especially 2 top 10 teams though, because the coaches they're 11, so it's basically top 10. Man.
And it's just going to be nice for a change. Seeing Wisconsin and Michigan State with the rankings they are, and people actually building that game up and not always tearing it down because it's Big Ten. I mean, the perception's different right now. Maybe it's temporary, but as of right now, you can't say nothing to them. They beat all the big teams in the non-conference, and you're not going to have that narrative. Oh, well, it's the Big Ten. That they ain't playing nobody. Oh, they beat Wisconsin. All that doesn't matter. Wisconsin's slow. The narrative's changing. I mean, these teams are changing. They're competing at the highest level.
If LSU does good, then that win will end up being more than we could imagine. But if they They lose.
So
it'll
really,
change
at this
the
point,
aspect of
though,
it. 2-1 though.
with
so.
the 3 guys Wisconsin's got coming up, I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to be battle tested. They got all their opportunities to move their way up, and as all these teams will.
Win and you win, man. That's basically what it boiled down to.
Yeah, it's just going to be a fun season. I mean, it's a couple times after the second, we were like, we'll see how it works out. But as of right now, I couldn't be more pumped. And we picked a good year to start the show, that's for sure.
Yeah, this
It's
is
going
the
to be one of the
best
best
year
years for
ever.
Big Ten football. I'm pumped.
Yeah, so the Big Ten, they went, 9-2.
You get the highest winning
They
percentage.
went 12-2 the first week. What they do week 2?
I can't remember.
Can't remember either. So we know they at least went 21-4 out of 2 of those weeks. I think they went like
Beat that.
what, 8-3 or something like that, or 7-4.
It wasn't a real bad
Yeah.
week. And we didn't have a lot of the big measuring stick games, but you had a couple, and they competed in them and looked
Right.
well. Some of them they didn't, but I mean, yeah, Purdue and Illinois losing them games, but other than that, everybody else has stepped their game up, and at least looks like they're on par with whoever they're playing, and beating some teams they weren't supposed to beat. So you couldn't ask any more for the
Respect
first
the
3
Big
weeks.
Ten. That's all.
Definitely.
That's basically what we learned out of all
Big
these
Ten power, baby.
Respect the Big Ten. All right, 3 top 10 teams, pretty much 6 top 26 teams, 27 teams. Because Iowa, even in the
Yeah, Iowa's going to linger.
they're
They'll
still
be
getting,
there.
they still got votes.
Yeah, they're
so
not
they'll
that
be
far
back
out.
in.
They got a chance to work their way back
Right.
up, and their goal is still there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you lost that early game.
But they haven't.
You haven't started conference play yet. Their goal is to get to the Big Ten championship, and they can still do that.
Win the title game. You got a shot to be in the playoffs.
Even if you don't, you got a shot to win the Big Ten, and that's
Right.
going to be huge for Iowa. Everyone's
That's
goals
gonna
are
be
still
tough
on the
this year,
table.
man. It's not gonna be easy to win the Big Ten. It's
No,
not.
we knew this race in the Big Ten. The East got a lot of the publicity, but the West,
Right.
we knew that was going to be an exciting race because they could all capable of beating each other. It's going to be fun on both sides, and they might not all be playing for the playoff, but
Yeah, but
you're
the
still
most
playing for a
important
Big Ten
thing
championship.
It's 0-0 for everybody. So
Yeah.
regardless of what everybody did outside of the conference play,
Your goals are still there.
everybody.
And it
the
starts
main
this
goal,
weekend.
hey, you win 8 games, you go to the championship game. You win that, you got a shot at the playoffs. That's all you can ask for. But
What are you going to do, brother, when the Big Ten runs wild on you? Mean Gene.
thank you. I'm Mean Gene, right? What do I do?
Huh?
What does Mean Gene do?
Just look pretty, I guess.
I want to be Jim Ross. Oh, the humanity.
Oh, by God! They broke him in half, brother.
Yeah, these guys are wrestling buffs, so from time to time again he'll be referencing random
Urban
wrestling.
316 said I just whooped your ass.
Yeah. So
A lot more ass whoopings come out of that place, but that's let me tell you right now.
that's about all the time we got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's really him 614.
Leland 5150.
Subscribe, follow us. We're gonna post once a week. I hope you guys like it. If you like it, tell your friends, man. This is our
Check it
first
out. It's
season.
big, there's not a lot of Big Ten things out there. Just check
Yeah.
it out. I mean, if you love Big Ten football,
Like we
give it a
do.
listen. I love Big Ten football. So
So we're signing out for this week. We'll be talking about what happened between Michigan State and Wisconsin next week, and my main team, Northwestern. They're 1-2. They're my boys now, so they got to win. So now I can.
I thought Rutgers were your boys.
And the hell with Rutgers. They suck.
Rutgers is 2-1.
Oh, that's right. Hey, my bad. Hey, my other team, Rutgers. You know what I'm saying? I used to like Iowa, but once they lost, I gotta jump off that bandwagon.
My boys Iowa are gonna put a beat down on Rutgers this week.
That's what it's Rutgers versus Wisconsin.
Huh?
All right. No, Rutgers versus Iowa.
Rutgers is Iowa. Iowa's
battling
gonna
this
tear
week.
them up. Go Hawks.
I'm Rutgers. He's Iowa.
Hayden Price says scratch where it itches. They're gonna scratch where it itches. I don't know what that means, but the man knows what he's talking about, all right? And they're gonna put a beat down on Rutgers this weekend. Nothing they can do about it.
Can't really argue that because they're not that good. But hey, if Georgia State, no,
come up with some kind of
who they play? If North Dakota State can beat Iowa, well, why can't
North Dakota State's almost one of the greatest teams in the world, brother.
we? win?
5 championships in a row. Rutgers couldn't hang with North Dakota State. It was a slip up. Iowa just must have, something happened.
Hey.
Something happened. They stayed out too
2-1
late the
right.
night before. And they'll be back. And they'll come back with a vengeance. Rutgers, look out. You're going down.
You guys on the losing
And this, we
streak.
got $1 on this game, or a quarter, because we don't got that much money.
Can I borrow a quarter, somebody, please? 'Cause I have to put batteries in my camera, and they cost $7. So,
Batteries are expensive. This show isn't making any money.
all right. Hey,
It's all
until
good.
next time.
All
All right.
Big Ten football, baby.
First to Big Ten, baby.
Brother.